You see that this bottle of, I don't know if you've ever seen those the reels or whatever, because obviously Ashton Hall, right? The bottle of Saratoga. I remember you showed me that reel of some guy just went up to, like, he woke up at like 4 p.m. He rolled up to the tap on his sink and he filled the Saratoga bottle with the tap water. I'm not gonna lie, it's filtered, but that is like, because I can't put my Yeti in the refrigerator. So I have two Saratoga bottles that I'm currently filling up with filtered water and then putting it in the refrigerator. So it's on tap water, but I don't know if I'm playing into that. I don't know if I'm quite better, but
Talking about you're filling the, what's it called, the aqua
this
true.
this is currently filled with water from my filter.
I can't see what you're holding up. What was it?
I said this, the Saratoga bottle is filled with water from my AquaTrue filter because I put it back. What?
What's wrong with that?
Well, no, just because I keep, like, I don't know. I feel like it is good, but it's because
like the Saratoga bottles don't have microplastics in them. It's a glass bottle.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I usually don't put anything in. I don't think I put anything in a plastic to begin with, because if it's not in that, then it's just in the Yeti, which I don't know. But I feel like a fraud, I'm drinking out of the Saratoga bottle and it's filled with from my.
It's still good water. It's still filtered water.
It is honestly
this water.
Probably, yeah. The what was I going to say? I feel like it is just like when it's in plastic, like the microplastics or whatever, it's so bad for you. Especially like if it's like in the car or something and it gets hot, it's like.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I feel like nobody, when we were younger and stuff, like nobody talked about that. I feel like a lot more people just did that. I don't know. But yeah. They were actually saying, I saw the other day, this theory on people look younger now because like then they did back a long time ago, because they pushed drinking more and hydrating more. And so people like at your age right now versus someone at your age 50 years ago, like a lot of people looked older back then because they were not hydrating and drinking as much. I don't know if that's true or not, but
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they look like. Yeah, right now you're just sucking on a banana water. All right, get this underway. A few people joining in here. If you guys are popping in, ask some questions. We go live every Tuesday, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely were.
I mean, every week we find winning brands, so it's like, I mean, if you're not tapping into these lives, like, I don't know what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually contacting the brands as well. Like I threw that on one of the socials today, is like find winning brands that you can contact, which right now, I mean, we're in the, dare I say, the heart of Q4, right? Because this is really the time to get product into Amazon, and we're super busy in the business, obviously, during this time. But that doesn't mean you can't be sourcing, and it doesn't mean you can't be sourcing for even Q4 heavy products for next year. No issue with that. Doesn't mean you should slow down the sourcing or the outreach process just because we're in the heat of Q4.
Yeah. I mean, while we're on the topic, might as well maybe touch on that just a bit. When it comes to Q4, like, because we were talking the other day, I mean, check-in times are getting super long. You might want to really consider setting optimized.
Oh yeah. I was having that conversation today. It's I mean, if it's marginal difference between shipping optimized, so to 4 or 5 fulfillment centers or to 1, you're always going to want to go with the optimized, because at the end of the day, if you send out a bunch of inventory, you only need, if it's the same SKUs, right, you only need one of those to check in on time. And then by the time that, the other ones check in, hopefully that inventory will be active. So yeah, I mean, if it's even comparable, you better be going optimized at this point.
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts about LTL? Because you're not
Yeah.
sending LTL optimized. So
Yeah, well, it's so different. It's like when we send out, FTL versus LTL. It's like just today I was looking on Amazon Freight for one of our shipments, and the in transit time for the LTL through Amazon Freight was 14 and a half days. Right. So it's like, that's insane. From the time it gets picked up to the time it gets delivered is 14 and a half days versus that LTL was there in like 3 days. I'm sorry, the full truck was there in like 3 days. So, it's because it's going direct. So with LTL, you have a lot of like rerouting different places, and again, if you're going LTL and you have to go LTL, then still go optimized and you can do that if you have enough pallets. But if you're going like a minimal split LTL to the West Coast, you'd see your inventory next year. So
yeah, let's see. I think there's SCK8. Is that one still locked up? Remember SCK8 was like,
yeah, it was. I don't know if it's still like that. I mean, just in general, like if you guys are shipping product out right now, like avoid West Coast fulfillment centers as best you can. Minimal split West Coast fulfillment centers, just avoid it.
yeah.
I did post something within our community a little while back about the backlogs of like what all of the fulfillment centers were, how backlogged they were, and stuff like that. And that's always changing. But as a rule of thumb, Central or East Coast is where you're going to want to go.
Yeah, that backlogs, knowing which FCs are backlogged is super valuable to understand. It's basically like a grid, that you get from Amazon Freight and they'll tell you, which FCs are backed up.
Right. I mean, another thing too to think about is because I used to have trouble understanding this at the beginning. It's like if you have let's say a $500 difference between sending to a West Coast or sending to an East Coast, and you are saying that you're going to be saving $500 by sending it to the West Coast. But then if you do that and your inventory takes 2 months to check in, or which is quite literally possible, or a month to check in or whatever it is, the cost of capital that you now wasted because you sent it there far outweighs, anything that you would have spent maybe sending it to the East Coast. So you got to think about your inventory as well, especially when we get into these later months in the year.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, I mean, if you don't have any, like if you're doing wholesale, you don't have any holiday inventory, and plan for next year. I mean, the planning starts now for the following year. Like, I mean, we spend like a solid year or two just, really trying to close accounts that did super, super well during November and December so that we can capitalize on the holiday sales. Like, I mean, sales, like if you are in a good position inventory wise, you can literally do most of your revenue in the last 3 months of the year.
Yeah. We were looking at the other day, it was, I believe, because I made a tweet about it, it was 34% of the entire year revenue, 2.6 mil in just that amount of time. So very short amount of time for a very large amount of revenue. Not to say you need to do that. I mean, we're very Q4 heavy, but it's important to kind of like recognize that in the sourcing process.
Yeah. So Jacob's asking, recently got a banger brand, but the shipping kills the deal completely, takes it from 30% ROI to negative because they're sending from Louisiana to California and they are using a lift gate.
Well, Jacob, I could tell you it's not because of the lift gate, because that's probably about $40, depending on your carrier. But what would you say as far as, I mean, we don't really know the situation necessarily as far as like what that prep looks like and, you know, they can possibly ship direct. Like, what is that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I would ask, see if they could ship direct, but honestly, Louisiana to California isn't terrible. I mean, we literally get products from California to we're on the East Coast, so cross country, and we're still selling products profitably. So you might want to like reassess your margin to begin with, because if you're cutting it that close to where you know what that tells me? It actually tells me that your ROI, because your ROI is good. You're talking about your per unit profit must be low.
Right.
So 30% ROI is good. That's like goal ROI, minimum ROI, ideally. But your profit per unit must be too low if you're wiped out to negative after shipping. So that would be my question. Is I think you got to raise your profit per unit.
Yeah. Yeah. And ship direct. Yeah, exactly. To Amazon.
Yeah, ship them direct to Amazon. Yeah. Um,
And that's just a conversation to have with the brand owner, because a lot of people say that they're like, how do I develop that relationship and how do I get that going? And it's just over time, you know.
yeah, exactly.
If something seems like a scary or a big request, it's probably just because you don't have a good enough relationship yet.
Yep. Yep. So as we're going here, I'm just going to pull up Keep a Product Finder in a second. See if we can find a couple brands this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to dive into some sourcing. And in the meantime, while Brad's doing that, I'm going to be answering anything that you guys have to drop in here.
I'm just going to set my filters. I'm not going to run through this again, because if you guys, tap in on a weekly basis, and always set these filters. So
Yeah. Also, to touch on that, as far as Amazon is stopping prepping, I believe it is in January of 26. I believe that's the date. But yes, you would have the suppliers themselves prep the product. Yeah, as like prep is just one of those things that Amazon is just continuously every year with fees and with just cutting costs, whatever it is, they are constantly squeezing the sellers tighter and tighter, right? And you could do two things. You can complain about it, or you can, and say that Amazon's dead and nobody's going to sell, and go to the forums and, uh, talk shit about things, or you can, adapt and pivot, which is always the strategy for those that are successful on the platform. And so, like with something like that, negotiating with your suppliers for them to prep potentially, or using a prep center if you need to do that, whatever it might be. But there's always ways to pivot and adapt. So if you're currently using the Amazon prep program, then just gonna have to pivot and adapt come next year.
yeah. Um, share my screen here. You see my screen?
Yep, you're up there.
All right, so we go all the way to the back of Keep His catalog here. And see what we can find.
Yeah, and the logic on going to the back, like Brad always does, is just you're getting past all those big brands. We talk about the ability to dig through all the dirt to get to the gold. That's really what the sourcing process looks like, and so that's why I skipped all the way to the back.
Yeah. This Hannah always comes up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just see brands like over and over again, and
Some nice packaging on that. I know you're
yeah,
thinking the same thing.
yeah, I like it.
Is it olive oil?
That's what it looks like. So like Honeywell is a big brand, but this is like a commercial grade product. Like this is something that you might be able to get from a distributor.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to get a direct account with Honeywell, but I'd be curious how many sellers are selling this because you could go the distributor route with something like this. Like I guarantee you, you could find, like local distributors in your area, or even, just search Google Honeywell distributor and put in your area, and a bunch of stuff will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these
Yeah.
commercial grade products,
The
you can.
approach is different, right? Like, how would you approach that versus, if you were contacting Honeywell directly, which obviously we wouldn't do? How would you approach it from the distributor standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I would just strictly, I'd get right to the point and, tell them that we're an e-commerce business. We're looking to stock the inventory.
Yeah.
Just straight to the point, stock the inventory. We're looking to place an opening stocking order. I tell them where we're located. And yeah, I mean, I would just focus on the fact that we're, a retail business, and that we're carrying the inventory. Because a distributor is going to have no vested interest in what happens with Honeywell on Amazon.
Yeah. The motivation is super different.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I do like that one as well. What's that
Which one?
right there? That thing with the like green and yellow circle. Is that
Green and yellow. Is this?
the down? That thing, the big one. What is that?
Which one? This?
Yeah, the one you were just on. That sorry, it's like far uniquely something.
Oh, this. Wheat brand.
What is that? Click on that one.
I mean, it's only selling 100 units a month at 23.
All right, never mind. Don't click. You know what it is? I can't, like, it's so small on my screen that I
Yeah.
can hardly see it.
What is this?
I'm just shooting in the dark.
This is a seasonal product. Let me open that up. Curious.
Yeah, let's click on the kind of illustrate what seasonality is. Because, I mean, you guys, if you're sourcing for products or something like that, and you're like, oh, this doesn't sell, always make sure to zoom out to the year or zoom out to the all-time keeper graph, because, it just really, you'd be surprised. A lot of products are seasonal. There's a product today that I found that was seasonal, that was something that was completely did not seem like it would be a seasonal product, and it was. So you never know.
Yeah. So we got a few products up there. I'm probably gonna. Why don't we start with what we opened up? So,
What's up, Johan?
First one. This is obviously seasonal.
Bird doesn't look so good.
So yeah, let's see. Well, I mean, you're getting a really short window on something like this, so you got to make sure you don't overbuy, because if you got the account with this, like you overbuy and you don't sell out this season, you're literally going to hold the inventory for a year because it doesn't sell. Like it's literally stopped selling, like right up till Halloween, then it's done. So
Exactly.
I would proceed with a lot of caution on something like this.
Yeah, and you can learn year to year. It's like we have product that we buy seasonally where it's like the first year you go a little bit, lighter on it, and the next year you gain more confidence and you go heavier, and the next year you go heavier. You know what I mean? So it's a process over time.
Yeah.
Johan says he is stealing some leads from the live. That's as you should, man. Like,
yeah, that's why we're here.
That's why we're doing them.
Yeah, so Crazy Bones, reach out to them. Leaf and Flower. I thought that was a hedgehog for a second.
Was that that looks like the mop that you used to mop the floor, those white ones.
Back of the lady's head. But yeah, I mean, this listing could definitely use some work.
Yeah, it definitely can.
Not a ton of sellers on it, so that's
And we've got some industry specificity, and we've got some merchant fulfilled offers as well. And so that's something to keep in mind. Like, you're immediately not going to have those people as competition if you have a merchant fulfilled offer.
Yeah, this is a small little product. It's selling for almost $30 at 500 units bought. This is a good one.
Yeah,
pretty solid, consistent seller. Price is pretty stable. Yeah, I would definitely reach out to them.
Fluctuations in the amount of sellers on there. I mean, it's interesting to see. It might be something that someone's getting through arbitrage as well.
Yeah,
Not entirely sure. What is that? It's always these obscure products that like we really like because I don't know, something about it just the obscurity a lot of times, as we say, just it creates like the person that's making the super specific product that's not focused on marketing is not usually focused on Amazon either. Like if you're like think about the company Native that we see all the time, right, with the shampoos and stuff. Like they are a shampoo company, but they are a marketing company. Like that is what they do. Their marketing is insane. They're focused on all this stuff. Entry guard, window crank handle 20810 is not like putting billboards up in Times Square in LA. Like, you know what I mean? They're not focused on this type of stuff because they're so technical and specific that they're probably all, industry specific sellers, most of them and whatnot.
curious if this was like the brand or something.
Yeah.
No, they got a whole bunch of stuff. These people.
Yep.
Might be yeah. Might have some other stuff too. Yeah, I mean, listing. They got some decent infographics.
Right.
But I think it can use some work. It doesn't look like they have A+ content. So, but decent, $40 sell price, 300 units bought. Take a look at Keepa. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty solid, consistent price, consistent sales.
Yeah, it looks like it picked up a little bit.
Yeah. It looks like it's a seasonality component too. I mean, it makes sense because it's a window thing. People are opening their windows, in the warmer months. So you got some. Yeah, well, that's a good one. And then we got the Honeywell, and then we got a Crossbow. Let's see. Yeah, there's only one seller on it, so.
Oh yeah, it's actually I shot that the other day. That brand, I know that brand. Yeah, I shot one of those. That thing's insane. That thing goes like whatever 400 feet per second. Yeah, that thing's it's crazy to me that you can buy something like that on Amazon. Not only that, but it's crazy to me that someone would sell that. I don't know if I would want to sell that from a compliance standpoint. I mean, that thing will literally kill you. That thing put a hole through, or not a hole, it dented a steel by about that much. So I don't know if that would be something that I'd be interested in selling, but
yeah, I mean, there's only one seller on it anyway.
Yeah, that's funny. I literally shot that exact bow the other day. Yep. Yeah.
So, other than that one, I mean, we found a few products. I mean, this one's good. This one's good.
I like the Halloween one. I really do. I feel like that is I don't know. It's small. It's niche. It's very much so like, I don't know.
Looks like they got a bunch of other products here too. I mean,
I was going to say they probably do. I mean, they probably make first.
I mean, this one sells way better. 700 bought in the past month.
Yeah.
So we got a squirrel.
The thing looks good. That's like, where do you put that? Yeah, it's good. I want to actually touch on a couple of things that we had in here. Just touch on this real quick, just because I want to give a shout out. Someone's asking about editing videos. We have a team of editors that are really, really great, and we appreciate them. So yeah, we definitely do not edit our own videos. Jacob says, new to learning wholesale brand direct after joining a quote unquote coaching program for online arbitrage in April and learning that wholesale seems the way to go, mainly because of the ungating challenge. We get asked that a lot, right, Brad? Like, we get asked about ungating, and our answer most of the time is that, like, it practically doesn't exist in the model that we do.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about getting ungated in wholesale, because you basically, granted, there's always going to be nuanced situations, but with ungating in wholesale is that you're buying the inventory direct from the brand, right? And so, or from an authorized distributor, and you have the quantities that you need to get ungated with Amazon. That is a challenge with online arbitrages, that Amazon is asking for invoices in absurd quantities. They are not taking retail invoices a lot of the times anymore. And so arbitrage sellers are left, kind of stuck wondering what to do. But that's where, wholesale is definitely the more scalable model for sure.
Yeah.
Not
only scalable, but, we have the difference between that typical wholesale model with distributors and brand direct. And you're still kind of running into some of the ungate issues with a wholesale model, at least having to submit the invoices. A lot of times the brands that we're teaching to target, like, I don't know about you, I mean, other than the one that I happened to shoot the bow, right? Like, I didn't know any of the brands that were on this list tonight. Every brand that was on here was something that was brand new to me, right? And so most of those brands are not brands that are gated on Amazon. And so the work is upfront and learning to close the brand. And we're teaching right now the sourcing process, but we go very in depth into the outreach and how to actually close and provide value to these brands within our community. And that's something that will completely eliminate that ungating issue for you.
Yeah.
Ingrid, what's up? Jacob says that if someone shoots him with a crossbow, he could catch the arrow. There might be a little bit of truth to that, but I wouldn't go trying it.
Probably could.
Jacob, I want to see you closing wholesale accounts. I don't want to see you like on the 5 o'clock news. You know what I mean? All right.
Yeah, guys. Was it 10 minutes? We found a few brands. It really doesn't take that long. Like, so don't get bogged down in the over analysis phase. Like, when you source suppliers, we'll see sellers a lot. They will over analyze the listing before they've even contacted the brand, right? So you don't need to find the perfect brand to put it into your spreadsheet to contact them, right? You just need to take a preliminary look at that listing, see if there is sales volume on it. So we're comparing 3 key things. We're comparing the volume of the products, how many units are selling. We're comparing the selling price. What is the average selling price of the listing or the products that they sell? And is the brand well represented or poorly represented on Amazon? And that's something we talked about a little bit, where brands, they don't have images, they don't have lifestyle photos, they don't have A+ content, they don't have, a really robust Amazon presence. And why do we look for brands that don't have that? Well, it's because those are brands that we can come in and actually provide value to right away. Because as we all know, most brands are going to give you rejection. So you're going to face rejection. So by going into it, arming ourselves with potential ammunition, it increases our likeliness of closing that account, because we can actually add value to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Jacob, just to follow up on your gating thing, we were talking about, you said still learning to pull SKU lists, use it to your advantage, things like that. Again, it's just something that we don't really deal with so much in, um, within the brand direct space, just because the lists of the products that these brands carry are much smaller. We're not constantly scraping and running things like that. It's really focused on quality over quantity. But if you have questions on stuff or want to explore or understand how brand direct works more, and that goes for any of you listening to this, shoot us a message. I'll get back to you on Instagram or on Twitter, Operation AMZ, and we'd be happy to have a chat about it. But yeah, Amazon's always changing, and we want to go the route that they're kind of pushing sellers to go with is direct brand authorization.
Yeah.
So, Brad, any last thoughts or?
No, yeah. I mean, if you guys are interested in, working with us directly, give us a shout. Like you said, Instagram, Operation AMZ, or Twitter, Operation AMZ. If you don't have social media, send Brandon an email, brandon@operationamz.com. And yeah, I mean, good stuff. We found a few brands this week, but we find brands every single week, and that's what it's all about, is putting in the work, putting in just the consistent hours of sourcing, right? So when I first started, I was, a lot of you guys are probably doing arbitrage. You're doing arbitrage. Focus on doing sourcing when you can, right? So do some sourcing at nights, on the weekends, and then you want to try to contact these brands during the normal business hours. And that's how you're going to start to make progress in your business. So,
and we'll see you guys next week for another live, more sourcing and more questions.
all right, peace out.